take a base at the upper left, adding gateways at the moment. Probably gonna be, is it gonna be 4? Only adding in 3, but getting his probe ready, I think, for a 4th. Also getting his Stargate going ready, just on 2 base, already gonna upgrade to Arbiter just on 2, alongside getting those gateways, so gonna be 2 base Arbiter. With no real harassment done, I feel it's a little bit safer to try to do some armies. He did pick off some armies, so I think he might take that as an opportunity, as, you know, a safe enough opportunity to pick up the 2 base Arbiter. Hwasin, meanwhile, putting up a command source, so he's going to pick up the 12 o'clock gas, so he wants to hit a pretty heavy macro game. If you manage to take the 12 o'clock 3rd gas alongside it, and of course, it's not too hard a position to defend, really. It's vulnerable. It's especially vulnerable to Arbiters, I feel, that position. They can really, just one single recall will take that entire position out, and not really that much space for, as much space they really would want for mines and turrets, as you can kind of see there. Some space for turrets and mines, but they're probably going to end up taking out all your workers alongside some of the army of the opponent. Dragoons, though, moving out in the field for Kal. Just picking up some vultures. Vultures are just putting up mines at 6 o'clock, their old location, so Hwasin can have a real good idea of where expansions are on the way. Also has a couple Goliaths out there. If he has scan, I'm guessing he's scanned the Stargate going up, so he's probably going to get some. The Arbiter Tribunal, pardon me. The Arbiter Tribunal was actually not up because the Temple Archives was in the way. Kal going to pick up his mineral only. Arbiter Tribunal being put down right there. Kal going to continue macroing up just on those 5 gateways, getting upgrades as well for his forces. See some Protoss occasionally decide to forego their forge early on, sometimes even waiting until they get their 3rd gas, all the way until they get the 3rd gas before getting the upgrades, and some players completely forget about it sometimes. But yeah, good for Kal here to not to forget. He does get the mineral only, and he's gonna most likely want to transition to the upper left. Meanwhile, in defensive position be put down here by Hwasin. He's being very careful, putting the barracks in front of the ramp, putting a bunker down to put Marines into. Those can probably produce some Marines from that barracks. Has some couple of siege tanks in there as well. And I think overall that's a fairly good defendable position, because Dragoons are not going to be able to attack the tanks from beyond that racks, I think. Just overall, Hwasin playing very carefully here. And that, of course, that racks also is an additional, some additional protection against drops, but not that much. You want preferably turrets. But will help you well against Mutalisk harassment, not as well against anything the Protoss offer. Dropship coming out. So Hwasin going to transition drops. He has a couple of vultures, Goliaths, tanks out in the field, so it's really up to him what he wants. It is that he wants to drop for. Very, very heavy Dragoon army for Kal. He's still on those 3 bases. One of them not gas. I don't think Hwasin's going to pick. I don't think Hwasin's putting down his 3rd refinery quite yet. I'm not quite sure. Can't tell on the minimap whether he's actually getting the refinery right away or not. But he's turning up, putting down mines all over the place. He wants to be ready. Also, of course, to pick off those observers who don't get inside of his base. Has 1 dropship there waiting. I'm wondering whether he's actually waiting on another one. Does have a science facility up for continued upgrades. Probably has a 2nd army around there as well. Zealot gonna run up to 12, gonna spot the position. Not really gonna do much penetration. Not really. That wasn't really to do any sort of damage. Just running in, spot the position, spotting the 2 tanks to defend the bunker as well. He might suspect there are more forces up there. Kal, meanwhile, has macroed up. He has a fairly large army. Hwasin just adding, has been producing only out 4 factories for now and adding in 2 more, but as soon as he hits that gas, 3rd gas, especially if he picks off his mineral only, he's going to be in a very good position. Kal actually going to transition, take the 6 o'clock. Of course, the 12 o'clock base very close to the upper left hand, so maybe he's feeling a little bit safer picking that 6 o'clock, slightly shorter reinforcement for him. Does have a shuttle out as well for Zealot bombs. Fairly large army, no auxiliary troops, don't see an Arbiter out yet. Dragoons are going to come up to the upper left, and he was also putting down next to it. It was actually a double expand from him. Vulture's going to come in and spot that. Not sure if Hwasin knows about the 6 o'clock, but he knows that Kal wants to double expand as a reaction to the 12 o'clock being taken, and feels he needs to pick up gas wipes because allowing the Terran to be ahead of you in gas, pretty bad position, especially if you allow it to happen for too long. Picking off some random scouting vultures. Well, actually, in StarCraft, you rarely find something that is actually rendered. 2nd Stargate on the way. Still don't see the 1st Arbiter. Might have missed it, but I still don't think there's the 1st Arbiter out there. Just observers alongside Dragoons and Zealots. And I think it's going to be important for Kal to add in some support troops that he has. His Zealots to act as sort of auxiliary force. He has his Dragoons to act as the main firing squads. But he's going to need some auxiliary forces. I feel sure, yes, some support troops. Arbiter is a very, very important support troop. Very important support troop. But I feel sometimes Protoss skimp on High Templar, and I feel that's a mistake. Going for High Templar, just a few, is really going to help you out. Some Storms in good positions. A lot of Terran players, of course, clump up their tanks together. And that really eventually is going to make it weak. Science Facility going to be probably for EMP that it was researching. Might be for the energy upgrade. But First Arbiter is now out. Has already been out for a little while, but is going to be flying around the field with some forces under it. Meanwhile, we saw that Hwasin was putting a lot of mines. I think he was also putting up a couple extra turrets just for recall defense. At the moment, Kal's going to have that those Arbiters producing off 2 targets, and when he manages to establish the gas at the 6, a base is already established in the upper left hand, which I think is on the way soon as well. When he manages to establish those 2 additional gateways, he's going to be able to produce even more. 2 additional gases going to be able to establish. I'm sorry, but then he was going to be able to, of course, produce off more gateways. Going to go with the probe at that lower right hand spot that Hwasin is actually not taking and hasn't even taken a minute only. So Kal at this moment is going to be quite a few bases ahead, and mines and turrets all over this 12 o'clock. Not a lot of position, see. So if there is a recall, all the SCVs are going to die alongside. But I definitely feel Hwasin's ready enough to make that sacrifice. Vulture's going to the upper left hand. Only 2. There are 4 cannons. There. Kal being very careful. There's also a tank. He might siege against those cannons, but I think before he manages to really do any sort of economic damage, he might get penetrated. I think this might be a partial elevator. He went with a dropship back, so you might actually want to reinforce those forces at the upper left, and before he gets them spotted, might be a battle coming up. Forces coming in at the 3 o'clock position, which Hwasin might want to take. Vultures at the front, siege tanks at the back. EMP goes off on the arbor, so not going to be any stasis coming in. Zealots and Dragoons are going to have to handle this by themselves. Second Arbiter coming in, wondering whether he actually managed to get off. Some observers dying in there, in the air. Shield, oh man. Oh, Zealots coming in from the left side as well, but most of the Zealots have gone down. The tanks are going to be able to hold the fort here. Arbiters coming in with support. No stasis yet. One stasis catches quite a bit there. His own Arbiter caught as well. Storm's going to come off, catch quite a few forces in the back, but I'm not quite sure these Dragoons are going to be able to handle this or not. Only 2 Dragoons left at this point. Alongside a shuttle for Zealot bombs, which almost gets picked off. High Templar drop there, I think, get picked off. So only 2 Dragoons and Arbiter left after that attack. 1 Arbiter getting picked off. Kal going to pick off the lower right-hand position, actually, but I'm not quite sure if he's has enough of the force to support because he lost quite a bit of his army. Oh, God. I almost called it a shield battery. Christ. That thing, the science was. Defense matrix, right. God. Sometimes called it a shield something. Defense matrix. Sometimes the words just kind of jump out of your head. It happens to the best of us. Hwasin going to pick off that throughout meter only, kind of noticing there. Oh, wait, I didn't land my freaking command center. Right. Despite the fact that his base is behind Kal, he's still on 3 gas. He's managed to pick off that mineral only and saturated pretty quickly. And he definitely has a military advantage. He picked off a lot of Kal's army without taking any. He did take some damage, lost a lot of vultures, but didn't really lose too much. Still has vultures milling around the field. I feel Kal has put up a lot of cannons everywhere.